Hey everyone, it's Savannah and welcome back to my channel. Today is Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024, and we're back for another podcast episode. Okay, so first things first, it's going to be a high of 82 today in October. I don't know what is up with the weather in Tennessee right now, but we had a couple of cool days at the end of last week, and now it's in the 80s again this week. I don't get it, I'm not a fan of it, and I would prefer if it would be more like fall now. I am ready to break out my long sleeve shirts. But I do want to say that it has been a bit crazy because, you know, Hurricane Helene came in the southeast last week, and while I was not in the direct path of it, I do have family that was, where my mama grew up. Her mama and her brothers and their families still live there, and some of them have fared better than others. Thankfully they are all alive, but one of my uncles does have power. My other uncle and my meemaw and other family still do not have power. A lot of trees were downed, most of them away from houses and anything important at their places, but the storm took out the main power generator for the entire county, so they are still really just in need of thoughts and prayers down there. So I'd appreciate if y'all would just keep South Georgia and Florida in your minds still. But anyway, my whole family has been sick these last several days. Thankfully I seem to be mostly recovered from it, but man, there is nothing that I won't say nothing, but at the moment I can't think of anything that I dislike more than just feeling just completely stopped up in my sinuses, coughing really bad, and having zero energy. Because that's what I was for like 3 or 4 days. But anyway, again, it's October. Spooky season is here, and later today I will have a blog post up on my website on 13 crochet patterns to make for this October. So once that's up, I will put it in the description down below so you guys can go check it out. I don't think I have any finished objects this week. I believe they were all in the last episode. But let's get on to those whips that I have, why don't we? Now, Cole and I will be going to Comic-Con in Chattanooga at the end of this month, and even though we are going to be cosplaying, I am still making a bag for it. I will need something to carry around, my phone and other things, and since we are planning on meeting the voice actor of Bumblebee from Transformers, the original, not the new movie, even though that movie was absolutely lovely. I enjoyed it so much. I'm making a Bumblebee backpack. I am basically adapting the pattern from the Optimus Prime backpack I made, with obviously some changes since their designs are not the same, but it is a great foundation for me. But I am using Hobby Lobby I Love This Yarn Solids, which is a worsted weight yarn, and my 5mm Prim crochet hook, which is absolutely one of my favorite crochet hooks. It works very great, it's ergonomic, and because it is not metal, the acrylic yarn, which is what this is, does not start squeaking after a while, which gets on my nerves. But I am about halfway done with the bag part. You can see the bottom window. I'm working on the side windows right now, but I started on it late, but because I already have a pattern I'm jumping off of, I do not feel as rushed as I probably would feel otherwise. But yeah, I don't think it'll take me too much longer to finish it, because I already have a very solid foundation for it. But I'm thinking I may need to get another skein of this yellow, because there is a lot of yellow in Bumblebee, believe it or not. And yeah, I probably will need another skein of it. We'll get to that when we get to that, but I cannot wait to finish this Bumblebee design because it is going to be just absolutely adorable. But yeah, if you can't tell, I am excited about this bag because from all of the Transformers stuff I've watched with Cole this last year, Bumblebee is my favorite one. He's an Optimus fan through and through, but I just love Bee's enthusiasm, the way in the newer movies, because he can't really speak in the live action ones because that part of his design was damaged by the Decepticons, but he is still able to convey his enthusiasm and his sarcasm and frustration and ideas even without it, and he's just so adorable too. So, but B is my favorite, hands down. But yeah, what I'm not looking forward to with this is all of these ends I'm gonna have to weave in. That's the one thing I really dislike about color work, is all the loose ends. And I just think I'm helping myself by leaving them till the end, but I'm not. I'm making it harder for future me. But yeah, let's get on to the next thing. Okay. The next thing I've got is a very big update on my fingering weight version of my holiday candy shawl, which is I've finally finished all 24 colors, and I'm on the border. This is absolutely ginormous, and I absolutely love it. And yes, I've still got to weave in all of these ends too. But it's alright because it's a lot less than the Bumblebee bag. But this is so cozy though. Like, seriously, I cannot wait to have it finished and get to wear it once the weather finally cools down, instead of being 80 degrees in October. I'm not having it. But again, this is a combination of the Prince Eric Little Mermaid minis from Sorella Yarns from a few years ago, the Favorites #2 collection from Paper Crane Yarns, and 3 separate mini sets from Holly Dye Works, Murder on the Orient Express, Anne of Avonlea, and A Christmas Carol. And they just work so beautifully together. Like, I've got some happy colors, I've got some moody colors, I've got neutrals. It's just absolutely, absolutely gorgeous, and I love it so much. I cannot wait to have it finished. But where it's sitting right now is all 24 colors have ended up being 220 rows, which ended up being 223 stitches across for row 220. I am working on the border, which will be nearly 500 stitches once I'm done. But the border color I'm using is a hand-dyed skein from Hobby Lobby in the colorway Hibiscus Palm. The reason it is a ball. You want to know the reason it's a ball? It's because when I went to wind it on my Swift and yarn winder, it kept snapping. And so I had to wind it by hand because I could not trust it to stay together. I had to tie it together more than 5 times when I was turning it into this ball. I am very upset about it. It had been well over the time limit I could take it to Hobby Lobby and say, hey, I have an issue with this. Plus, I don't have the receipt anymore. So I had to just suck it up and deal with it. And I don't know why it happened, because I have bought hand-dyed skeins from Hobby Lobby before, and they wound on my Swift and yarn winder perfectly fine. So yeah, I am a bit upset, but honestly, this goes perfectly with several of the colors in here. So I am just happy seeing it work out. Like, this is row 220 in the border. These reds go gorgeously together. This teal green right here goes perfectly with this. And the gold, if I can find it on me. It's probably behind me, isn't it? The gold in it perfectly matches this as well. So I'm just sticking with it because I don't want to pay more money to get a different color. And I would never find anything that matches as perfectly as this does anyway. So I am just dealing with it and making the best of it. But yeah. Anyway, another news. I have 24 tiny balls of leftover fingering weight yarn that are going to go in my scrap bag for my fingering weight blanket. And I'm so happy about that because I have so much more to add to it. And I really want to get one of these scrappy blankets done sooner rather than later. But we will see. We will see. I'm just so happy this is almost done because I will have it done in time for Advent season. Oh, and speaking of, I am planning on participating in the Fasten Off Yarn Along again this year. It is a giant collection of knit and crochet designers who gather patterns together into a giant list for a whole bunch of crafty people to enjoy for the holiday season. And there is a whole, I'll tell y'all more about it once it comes along, but this will be a part of the discounted patterns. All of my patterns will be, but I'm so excited that that is coming up and being able to share all of my patterns with y'all for a discounted price. So yeah, I am very much looking forward to that and seeing all the other designers that are going to be joining in all of their patterns. So that will be happening more in November, so I'll be sure to let y'all know more about that then. But anyway, let's get on to my next little project. Next up for you guys, I have got my DK Scrappy Blanket, which I have added several rows to since the last time. Let me find the top of this. Here it is. But it is still getting bigger. I believe I am on round 71, which is just half of one side at this moment. But the sides are measuring at a foot across now, and one edge of the blanket to the other is at 29 inches right now, which is almost a foot, 2.5 feet across. Sorry, I had to do a little bit of mental math there, and my brain was not working for a moment. But yeah, it is getting big. If you notice that this bright green is in here a couple of times, it is because I had to rework the first 3 solid spike stitch granny squares for my Disney Attraction Club square blanket that is on my bed that my dog is using, so much for it not being a dog blanket. So I had some leftover yarn from making them a bit smaller to work, so they got tossed back into my bag of DK scraps, so I have a little bit more to work with before the Advent season gets here. But yeah, I, at this point, am only a couple of rounds ahead of my fingering weight 1, and honestly, with how many scraps are getting added to my fingering weight bag, I don't know which one is going to get done first. Even though the fingering weight 1 will be a whole bunch of rounds larger than this one because of the size of the yarn and everything, you know. But it is getting cozy. It takes forever to work around on this, but I am very excited that it is getting big enough to lay over my lap as I work it. But, you know, just me being excited about everything today, so, yeah. Oh, yeah. I am just seriously in love with how these crossed double crochets have turned out on here. They are just so subtle, but it looks so gorgeous when you know what to look for. Like, it just adds something to it, and I am almost mad that I did not use the cross double crochets from the beginning instead of working a bobble stitch. Like, seriously? I could have saved so much yarn, but I would have had this gorgeous texture the whole time. But I do love the bobble stitches on here. Like, they were just so fun too, so. It's the creative process on these large projects, you know? But yeah, that's all that I have to talk about on that one. Let's get on to my last whip then. Okay, so, you know, I finished my solid spike stitch Granny Square Disney Attraction Club giant blanket that took me well over a year and a half to finish. Well, I finally have started on my 2024 Disney Attraction Club blanket, and that one I am doing a corner to corner blanket on, and I have a few baby rows on it. This is the January colorway People Mover. It is a gorgeous variegated blue, and it looks absolutely incredible in this corner to corner style. Now, I'm not doing a traditional corner to corner blanket. I am actually doing 4 stitches in a block, but 2 of them are double crochets worked around the previous double crochet. So it looks so fun. It is so fun to look at. I absolutely love it. And the only issue is I don't know how to write it in a pattern because I have never come across it before. So if any of you people out there know how to write in a pattern double crochet worked around the previous double crochet, I will love you forever and you will be my best friend. Please help me. But yeah, it is looking so cool. I have a feeling this blanket is also going to end up taking forever and being massive, but I am so excited about it and the journey of making it. But it is obviously DK weight yarn. I am using a 4.5mm crochet hook. This is my hand-turned Purple Heart wood from Loto Workshop. I will leave their website down below. They are incredible people, and I have 3 crochet hooks from them now. But yeah, their crochet hooks are gorgeous. They have these new style of ones that I really want, but don't need to be spending the money on, where it's like 2 different pieces of wood worked together. They're absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, that is all of the whips I have today. But I do have a stash enhancement to show y'all. So, as you know in my last one, I mentioned that my Disney Attraction Club for August had not arrived yet, and that I would not be surprised if it showed up that day. It actually took a couple days, but here it is. This is my August 2024 Disney Attraction Club yarn. This is Space Ranger Spin, which, you know, when I first saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, that is definitely Buzz Lightyear. This just gives Buzz Lightyear, and surprisingly, I was right. I was a Toy Story girl growing up. Jessie was my favorite. The second movie was superior, but I can recognize Buzz Lightyear anywhere. And I did. Hi, Ivy. But yeah, that is the yarn, and I am so excited to get to August and add it to this tiny little blanket at the moment. But anyway, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you for joining me in this podcast. If you guys have any questions or comments, or if you know how to write a double crochet worked around previous double crochet, please let me know. I want to hear what you guys are working on and what you're excited to be making for this October. Anyway, that will be all, you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Until then, happy crocheting.